Think about an application that you've got out there. And if you don't have any applications, then do this as a thought experiment. What is the pattern of errors that are occurring within your application? What about your resource usage? And how about page loads for web applications? What are your most loaded pages? How long does it take those pages to load? What are the resource usage for specific pages? How long does it take internal processes to run? What about your services? Right? All of these questions are important questions to be able to answer throughout the lifetime of an application. And if you don't have the data, then it's going to be pretty difficult to really know how an application is working. What you need is what we call telemetry. We call it telemetry because it makes us sound really smart and important. But it really is. It's about collecting information, not data, right? It's not about collecting the data for your application. Everybody that writes applications does that. It's about collecting the data on how your application's running. Right? And the really cool thing is that Microsoft has made this insanely simple with something called application insights. Now, there are other telemetry systems out there. There's other data collection systems out there. You can tie into other things, but this is so powerful. And frankly, it's so easy to implement. And in fact, when you use Visual Studio, if you're creating a web application in Visual Studio, it's going to be the default option for Visual Studio 2015 and for Visual Studio 2013, as long as you've got one of the later service packs, and I don't remember which one, right? But this is a very cool capability that gives you, and we can see what it gives you right here, right? You can use this to view exception stack traces. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to be in debug mode. Right? This is a system that's collecting this information for you. It's storing this information in Azure so you can come back and analyze it. Right? You get to monitor CPU, different research usage. You can test. You can run it as a test system to test URLs from different data centers. Right? So not just how is my application running, how's it running from across the globe? That's pretty powerful, all right? And you can also monitor usage of your application, and you can look at most popular requests. And the really cool thing about this is that it's a checkbox to integrate this into your application. And then, of course, it's giving you all this, but it can also be customized, right? You can also write code to start creating your own metrics, to save your own data that you can then graph potentially and put into analysis. Such powerful stuff. It's available for .NET, as I said. It's actually also available for Java. Right, there's a library that's made available for Java, so I can integrate Java applications into Application Insights. Right? And this is not an Azure thing, actually. Application Insights is in Azure, but this is just about telemetry. Right? Your application is simply reporting this data. It's collecting this data through an API, and it's reporting that data back to Application Insights in Azure. Very cool stuff, very powerful stuff. All right, and I just want to show you a couple things. First of all, just a quick screenshot, right? This is the idea. This is what I was just talking about. This is a screenshot of an application insight example. And here I've got a page dedicated to a particular application, and you can see. So I've got things like, okay, right here, what's my average response time? This is my application health. What's my average response time? I can look at that. I've got different graphs. You can see the requests. All right, very important. Any web tests that you're running, what are the response times for the web test as it's being run? And you can see you can run that at different times, right? And you see, ooh, that's not very good availability, right? Look at those testing numbers right there. That's telling you that, you need to see something that's going on here. What types of browsers? That's pretty standard, right? What are your pages that are being viewed? So this is a tremendous amount of information, and a lot of times people will go external to their application and they'll bolt on APIs that collect this information and gives it to them. And to an extent, okay, you could say that's what Application Insight is, but it's so integrated. It's so integrated into the development experience. It's integrated into Azure. If you're already in this course, you're already looking at Azure, but it's not tied to Azure as far as, you're not limited to doing this with Azure. You could do this with your mobile applications, right? Your desktop applications, even web applications not hosted in Azure, but why would you want to do that to begin with? In any case, very powerful stuff. And actually, we're going to look at this a little more depth in a demonstration as well.